chips. There's like assorted ballpoints hiding in there have to check the sound. Just talk to your mics for me.
Hi, I need a nap.
Delicious.
I'm a fruit salad.
Look at that.
She wants a kitten and I want a nap.
You can't call me she on anything.
I won't. I've been practicing hard. Are we on? Is there something happening?
Oh yeah. We'll see.
Here's what I do the details with.
Yeah, it's just like just got the
I know.
some people like.
Oh, is this a mixy one like you have?
Yeah. I'm totally in.
I think it's the best spot for this thing would be. Yeah. Cool.
Oh god. This is actually kind of hard to read.
Just pull them and put them in there. We can do some purple.
Yeah, you can just take requests from me and I'll grab them. Okay, those are the best ones.
That's great.
How do you feel about that?
I'm so tired, my eyes are watering.
Hello and welcome to the DoodleCast. I'm in today with two amazing artists. I'm really happy they got to come in. And again with Mar Williams, who's been on before.
Hello.
Hey! And also Joshua Finley,
Howdy.
who is our guest today. And look at this magic man. And Josh, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm very tired. It seems a little early on a Sunday. Well, I was raised Mennonite on a farm in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, and left and pursued drawing and music for the last 20 years. And now I live in Denver and share a gallery with Mar, and I'm tired, and I draw every day, and it's a lot of fun. And now we're doodling. We're doodling in the morning.
And yeah, today I was just kind of like to give you guys like a direction, but not too serious.
What is it?
I wanted to kind of talk about the idea of a work in progress. And I just kind of have like a first question for you guys, just to kind of get that started. So to you, what is the purpose or point to giving something time to become complete? Or does that ever happen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, in art, like, I guess the straightforward question there would be like, I frequently walk away, like, right when I think something is done, I don't call it done or like post it on the internet or whatever until I have like some time to look away from it and then look back at it, because I'm completely biased when I'm staring at it. Like, I either hate it or I love it, and it's like way overblown either way. And then if I like walk away for a minute and come back, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's acceptable.
Right? Like, there's like this weird thing of like, to everything you do or make, just finding acceptance in it, you know? And I guess that kind of narrows down that question. I'm horrible with those not narrow questions. Oh my. But yeah. Josh, what's something right now that you're kind of, because I know you guys are getting ready for a show coming up pretty soon here.
Yes.
And what's kind of like some of the stuff that's in progress for it? Because I know that I've seen you making stuff pretty recently for it.
Yeah, November, this will be the third November that we've had the gallery, and I do a cartoon Western series that I started several years ago, and it's evolved over time. Sometimes I paint it, sometimes they're really bubbly, cartoony, exaggerated, and the last year and this year have gone more, I don't know if you'd say maybe like an Old West book or something like that, like the illustrations that would have been in some kind of old Western book or something. Not as bubbly, cartoony, but I think it's still animated because I don't try very hard on making it realistic. But I have a lot of fun doing that. One of my favorite things to do about it is not just dudes riding horses or, ladies on the prairie or gunshot wounds or stuff like that, but random stuff. Like I just drew one where a cowboy and his horse are drinking out of the river at the same time right next to each other, which is pretty hilarious because you'd just be drinking the horse's spit. And I like that. It's neat.
That's awesome. And that's really cool, kind of that progression. And that's kind of part of the work in progress, is the progression that it goes through. And it's not necessarily something for you to just decide, like you usually just stumble upon it, or at least I do, I don't know. It just seems like one of the things to it though, is that there usually remains an element that stays the same,
Yeah. Yeah. And I like doing repeated series, and ever since we've had the gallery, picking months to do it, and then that month comes around and I get to do that series again and watch it evolve, and not be, because I spend a lot of the rest of the year, we'll pick like, what do you call them, themes for shows. And so you're just working on random stuff to fit the theme, whether a holiday oriented thing or whatever it may be, robots or whatever things we come up with. And so when these series that I do roll around, I get excited because I've let them sit for a year or so, and then I get to evolve on that and never be done with it either. Even though by the time the show's ready, I'm ready to be done with it. But then a year goes by and I get excited again. Right.
And part of it is, even if you're doing the same thing, sometimes you just kind of like find something new in it, And that's always like probably the coolest part of the process.
Yeah.
And this is another weird open-ended question. So we've kind of talked about like the logistics of like how a work in progress works and sort of the work part. But how do you define progress? That's open to everybody.
More?
Ooh, that's rough. I feel like it's just whatever my bias is going to be that day.
Right.
Like, I'm getting better at this, or this piece looks a lot better today. I don't know. What I think about my work is always so mood-based, I have no idea. I feel like I have not a lot of context for
right.
if the work is ever done, or if it's like getting better. I don't know if that was a good answer to that question.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like... Because I
think it is hyper personal.
Yeah, it's because for me it's like I don't paint much, because every time I paint, I turn into kind of like this weird nervous wreck. I'm like, every time I like go in to like work on it, I'm like, fuck me, that's not right. I fucked up. Like every 10 minutes or so, And then sometimes though it's just like, oh, I'm really feeling this today. I'm a good boy.
Right. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree that my sense of self-worth is directly tied to how good I think my art is that day.
Yeah. Well, and that's another part to it, is the time frame of it. Especially when you like have something that you have to do every month, That does definitely affect it. Which I've always found kind of interesting, because there's got to be like some perfect balance. I've never found it, but... It's out there.
I think for me personally, because I do an illustration business and do a lot of graphic design work and for various things, you know, I know Mar does too, that doing so much of that to pay the bills has made me more excited to go back to my work. You know, like it's almost like I arrange my work day to, you know, make these album covers and these concert posters and book illustrations and whatever it is, and I get those done, and then I get to reward myself by working on my stuff. And I don't remember what the question is. I think I'm...
Oh, it's cool.
I think what I'm doing is justifying to myself that that drawing... It's better to be drawing for somebody else and then working on your own stuff, because at least you're practicing your craft to pay your bills, instead of, you know, this farming and construction I used to do before I left all that. You know, I was too tired to draw after all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's like definitely a super good point too, is finding the time to do things is really what makes something a work in progress and not just a work. Because kind of what you're talking about is just, it's the work, man.
Yeah,
like,
sure, you gotta you gotta pay your bills.
That's the approach, man. But yeah,
you gotta pay your bills. So do you want to do it doing something that you love, even though the project may not be what you love, but you're at least practicing your craft? Or do you want to be too tired to do it because you know, poured concrete or sacked groceries or whatever it is that you did, you know, like...
Yeah, it's like weird. You're like, I have to fund my principles, so I do this thing that goes against my principles. When really...
While practicing your, you know...
Yeah.
It's weird because there's like there's a line where you can totally burn out how much art you do in a day, and you're just like, I don't want to even pick up a pencil today because I've drawn so much for other people.
Right.
So I'm constantly trying to be more efficient with my crossover, where it's like, oh, this is for a client, but it's also for me, and then like maybe I can use this for something else later.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to work these days.
That's so important.
Yeah, because like a part of it is totally finding those shortcuts, you know?
Because everything, I mean, it all comes down to time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I will lose time in one way or another if I, you know, so I'm trying to like do the crossover without watering down my work so much that it's not mine anymore, which is also a difficult line.
It is a difficult line. I think you and I have talked about this, is like, having done this for long enough to where we've kind of established where people come to us a little bit more and more, at least especially I speak for myself here, more than they used to, for my style, for what I want. They come and they just say, I want you to make this.
It's not just, I heard you can draw.
Yeah, I heard you can draw. Can you draw me this thing?
Yeah,
you know?
like I want a Josh Finley.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I just want to do caricatures forever, but I feel like trapped by faces, you know? And I think everybody kind of has their own thing with that. It's the expression of self, but it's also like, there are parts of ourselves we get stuck in, you know?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
It's the thing where when you pick up a pencil and you're not going to like, okay, I was going to draw this side of the speaker cabinet, or I'm going to draw this the way that this, you know, butt of this Brahma bull looks. And what is the thing you draw? I immediately start drawing turtles and fish immediately.
Oh, nice.
You know, it doesn't matter where I'm at or what I'm doing. That's what I do. I know I got friends that immediately just start drawing skulls, you know.
I love those guys.
Right? So
I went through a phase of skulls, man. They're fun, you know?
Yeah.
I think the face thing is something that I've consciously tried to work kind of away from a little bit. Like, why does every time I sit down, does it have to start with a face of whatever it is? What, you know, whether it's an animal or a person or a...
I think that's probably evolutionary.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, wow, am I really this human? Oh, man. Bummer. I thought I was different. Right? Oh, man. Yeah.
I draw cats. I start with giant, stupid eyeballs, and then a thing happens like this, whatever the hell this is, that is not a cat.
You're influenced by...
I made a moth costume the last couple days.
So good.
It's so dope.
This guy has a proboscis. What's the name for that?
Oh,
thing?
I have no idea.
The curly butterfly thing.
Yeah, right.
So you guys, we forgot to do something. I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna pass this around so we can get Samson your Instagram tags. Because I was gonna say, people should check this costume out. It's really dope.
I'll just
There you
put
go.
it on.
Yeah.
I found Mars.
I am this.
I don't have one. I don't do Instagram.
Oh,
long
okay.
story.
Well, yeah, that makes that easy.
Yeah.
Did you just get like the wrong personal message?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Oh.
I went through a weird, like, when I lived in Brooklyn, before I moved to Denver, I started a business with my ex-fiance, and we moved to Denver and like built it up really big, and so we had all the Twitter and the this and the Instagram and all that. She ran it all, which was amazing, because then I could just really focus on drawing and coming up with that stuff, and she was really great at it. And then we split up, and it was very mutual, and it was just like, let's just kill the business and all this stuff. And out of all of that, the only thing I kept was my personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then we opened the gallery. So then it became very like, if you want to talk to me, come talk to me in person kind of a situation.
Oh, I totally get that.
After
man.
I got a little awash with the social media stuff.
Right. That's kind of why I do this. I don't know. I totally get it. But yeah, about like that whole, because that's like a really interesting, like, I don't know, for me personally, been involved with art collective life before, and there is always just like some weird thing that happens with it if you're not like careful. It's just like acrimony invades into like everybody's work, It gets very strange, and it's I honestly think it's beautiful, because I usually find when people go through those points, they make their coolest stuff, or at least that's how I feel.
Yeah, well, it opens up a lot.
But it's like, you don't need that, But maybe it's that balance, the mythical balance everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I think every art is so individually subjective too. So
yeah,
every person's ideas and desires are different than the next, and that's a very, very beautiful thing,
Yeah.
Well, it's taken us like 3 years now to get to the point where we're like comfortable with our little art gallery clique and like how we work off of each other.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a thing, right? Just like doing it.
It takes perseverance.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's the whole thing. I thought it might have been where I was going with the whole job thing, and keeping with rather be doing this even though it's hard and you don't make any money, and the perseverance of saying I may not have any money for the next week, but I'm doing what it is that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And there's some happiness inside of that, because I've been just as poor working jobs,
right?
And they was not as happy.
Yeah.
Your sense of accomplishment is disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just that was kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about, was just because it's something that I always kind of think about, and it's how do you foster that platform for the collective, and then how isn't that kind of one of your works, and how do you evolve with that? And that's always like, I've never found a good answer to that question, honestly, but it's hard.
I think with Cabal, like, we really are pretty individual about how we interact. Like,
yeah,
I think we're more focused on like each other as friends, and like, and we care about what's going on in each other's lives and stuff like that. And then it just sort of, the Cabal thing happens naturally from having good friendships.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my experience with the Black Actors Guild. We're still around, and it's like, it's really cool because we're all just close, you know? We've known each other for a while and we've been doing this together for a while. And I do think that is really the only way to do it right, for sure. But yeah, you can't force that, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of brings us back to that whole idea of the work in progress, which it becomes that because it's not really anyone's decision, you know?
Yeah, and we've had... Mara and I have been in that building. Karina's been with us now for well over a year. Mara and I have been in there with other partners that have come and gone, and you know, we're still just now changing it again. We've had various incarnations of the way the building was going to be laid out and the way everything was going to be run, how we're going to do it. Now, I don't know. Now we're hitting our stride big time in a really creative, simplistic. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Let's paint this wall. Let's paint this floor. Let's tear this out. You know, it's really awesome.
I think a lot of the rhythm comes from just knowing we're just going to be in that building doing something together, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Totally. Couldn't agree more. That's like the way it should be. Because it's kind of crazy that more collectives don't do that, and also collectives don't come together and do that a lot, you know?
I think Mar made a good point about we're all very individualized. We all run our own businesses and our own illustration stuff, but we're in there working together, and it's based off of a friendship and genuinely caring about how the other person's life is going, not just that they're artist 241 that rents this spot over here, you know?
Yeah.
And plus it doesn't hurt that I think, you know, especially, you know, landing Karina in there with all her fun stuff that she does.
Oh, she's a wizard.
Yeah, that we're all genuinely intrigued by what each other work on too. Like, wow, that looks really cool. You know, that's really nuts. How do you do that? How do you not electrocute yourself? How do you not burn yourself? You know, like that moth costume that Mara built the other day. You know, I left, and Mara was like, "I'm going to build this," and then all of a sudden, I see on the internet this headdress posted, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so fuzzy and delectable.
And that is going on 3 years of that happening. You know, seriously, it's like playing with a good drummer in a band where 3 years later you're still like, fuck, dude, you're a beast, man.
We need to get that moth costume into music videos.
I know, right?
Oh
totally,
God.
seriously.
Go for it.
That'd be amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, if you saw that thing coming out of your closet, you're like, shit, my sweaters are gone.
Oh, yeah, right?
It eats entire sweaters.
Yeah. It's like sandwiches.
What is a hole?
Yeah, right? That's great.
That's what I want to be when I grow up. A sweater-eating monster.
Yeah.
I'd still hang out with you.
Yeah.
And just be careful about what type of fabric I wear around you.
There you go.
No wool. Can I throw a plug in here?
Oh, absolutely.
Sweet. So show coming up with a bunch of other artists at Indie Ink on November 3rd. And it's called Uncovered, and it's partly for the I forget the branch name of that library, but there's a
Bell or Ball or something. Bill?
I don't know. It's that Denver Public Library branch. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like in collaboration with them or whatever. But I'm going to do a collab book cover with my daughter.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep.
Ada's dope.
She's turning into a really amazing artist, and I'm really excited to try and paint something with her.
Right? That'll be super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely going to have to come check that out.
cool show.
What's it called? Uncovered?
Uncovered.
Can you talk about the book that you're going to do? Because I'd never heard of this fucking thing, and it sounds ornery.
It's a children's book that was written in the 1920s, and it's called Millions of Cats, which I thought fit in with the sort of things that I draw. It's a really cute book. You should totally read it. Anybody who's looking at this or watching our DoodleCast. It's basically it's like a husband and wife go out, and I think the husband finds a stray cat and then finds another stray cat and just keeps bringing cats home. And the cats are all like fighting for attention, and they eat each other.
Whoa.
Right.
Wow, took a turn there, didn't it?
Until there's one cat left. So it's really cute and weird, and
it's probably biologically accurate too.
Yeah.
I could see cats doing that. Oh man, that cat earlier. It just flashed before my eyes.
Right?
The Denverite bobcat. It was a rare sighting.
Yeah.
Beautiful brindle creature. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
With little stubbins.
Right? I'm holding things in my hand.
So scaly, man.
I think another portion of our, job never being complete in the creation of the gallery we've been putting together for so long is we've been doing a lot of murals individually. Now, we're talking about doing more of an organized, going out and getting mural jobs together. Mm-hmm. Like a team. Because, right now already, even when Jesse was also in the gallery too, there'd always be murals and we'd help each other out and that kind of stuff. But actually pursuing, going out and trying to find them instead of just waiting for them to come in to supplement some income and such. So
yeah,
spilling out of Cabal a little bit.
Yeah,
the team aspect too.
And that's Jesse Fraser, fame worldwide.
Yeah.
Let's just plug our friends while we're at it.
Yeah, why not?
I like artists. Yeah, sure. Sorry, I got all into a weird caterpillar vibe.
Well, you have
Are you
a
a
brown that tan.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Don't apologize for your caterpillar.
Don't apology.
It's great.
I call it a ratapillar. Because we were talking about things that you used to draw a lot. I used to, I went through this weird phase where I would just draw caterpillars for some odd reason.
Yeah.
And then I would just fill in weird patterns on them. And then I would write ratapillars and leave them at bars and random establishments.
Bars where alcohol is served?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Right?
That makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't saunter into saloons anymore. I got it out of my system.
Oh, shoot.
That's one of my works in progress,
Right. That got me thinking, childhood. So, we wasn't really allowed a lot of toys with violence. Actually, none, just things with guns and stuff like that just weren't allowed.
Yeah.
Those weren't a thing, growing up on the farm there. And when you're a little kid, everyone in school likes superhero stuff,
Right.
I got
all these brush tips. There's assorted ballpoints hiding in there We just have to check this out.
I need a nap.
Delicious.
I'm a fruit salad.
Look at that.
She wants a kitten and I want a nap.
You can't call me she on anything.
I won't. I've been practicing hard. Are we on? Is there something happening?
Oh yeah. We'll see.
Here's where I do the details. So it's
He's like, he's got the
oh, you know.
some people like.
Oh, it's like those mixy ones like you have.
Yeah. Totally.
I think it's the best spot for this thing would be.
Yeah, over there.
We could just play some marker. Yeah. I'll just grab like a few choice ones.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh god. This is actually kind of hard to read.
Just pull them and put them in there. We can do some purple.
Yeah, you can just take requests from me and I'll grab them. Okay, those are the best ones.
That's great.
How do you feel about
I'm
that?
so tired. My eyes are watering.
Hello and welcome to the DoodleCast. I'm in today with two amazing artists. I'm really happy they got to come in. And again with Mar Williams, who's been on before.
Hello.
Hey! And also Joshua Finley,
Howdy.
who is our guest today. And look at this magic man. And Josh, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm very tired. It seems a little early on a Sunday. Well, I was raised Mennonite on a farm in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, and left and pursued drawing and music for the last 20 years. And now I live in Denver and share a gallery with Mar, and I'm tired, and I draw every day, and it's a lot of fun. And now we're doodling. We're doodling in the morning.
And yeah, today I was just kind of like to give you guys like a direction, but not too serious.
What is it?
I wanted to kind of talk about the idea of a work in progress. And I just kind of have like a first question for you guys, just to kind of get that started. So to you, what is the purpose or point to giving something time to become complete? Or does that ever happen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, and in art, just like flipping out. You know,
Got feedback.
There's
You know,
there's an amount of calm that you have doing it for so long, where you just like sort of flow with the chaos of, of last minute.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
oh man, and for anybody that doesn't know, that stuff takes a few days to wear off. It's some potent stuff, that art show adrenaline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always hiding in the studio is always more fun, but somebody's got to be at the show, you know.
Right.
Talk about things that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. People have questions about, whatever it is, why it is you did what you did, or how you did what you did, or what you're going to do next. So it's good to be there gabbing, but
Yeah.
definitely the guy that'll always just be walking through the room, going outside, or walking through to go into the back, or walking through to go into the...
It's funny, like, knowing these things about you, but then hearing you say them out loud.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, that is what you do.
Yep, totally.
I am the guy that grabs a beer and then goes back to the drawing board, as it were.
I'm the
I try not to be, though.
And they'll hide behind something.
Yeah.
We have a counter now, and
That's the best.
the last show I just sat behind the counter the whole time.
And that was so great.
And it makes you feel all official and
Because then people have to come to me to talk to me.
That's amazing.
And I don't have to stand awkwardly in a group of people and try to have weird conversations.
Right. You did such a good job.
Thanks.
With that.
I don't know why I got into the cocoon thing. You guys ever gotten like the can of silkworms before? You ever tried that?
No. What?
Yeah, you can get like canned silkworms
To eat?
to eat.
Oh.
And they like come in the cocoon.
Ooh.
And they're all squishy.
I've had fried chrysalis.
That sounds amazing.
They're not very good. They taste like bugs. But I had like some cheese flavored ones from the Asian market.
Bugs can be delicious. You just gotta cook them right. You want to cook them with the crops that they eat.
Well, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had to burn bagworms off a cedar tree? That is a horrid smell.
Really? Yeah. Ooh. Aren't bagworms pretty nasty too, though?
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know what a bagworm is.
Yeah, if you saw one on a cedar, like they make like big
They like
web cob looking things, but they're these weird just bags.
Can you draw it for me?
I wouldn't come across it. Looked like a scrotum.
Yeah. A little bit mucusy too,
Yeah,
right?
and
they get like drippy.
Yeah, but they'll have kind of a hard thing, but they'll just absolutely take over a cedar tree. And then, I mean, the best thing to do is just burn them. So.
Cedar smells nice when you burn it, though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I want a horse. I want a horse in town. I miss them from childhood and, you know, doing the touring thing for so long and the living in the big cities. It's like...
I'm one of those weirdos that's got an irrational fear of horses.
Well, I don't think it's irrational. They're
Horses
beasts. They're huge. And they're dangerous. But they also... I don't know. Maybe I only had one horse in my life that scared me. That was Blackie on my grandparents' farm. He was a black horse. And anytime he saw the barn, he'd just run back to it. Even if you were on it, you would ride him a quarter mile away from the barn. But if he turned and saw the barn, there was no stopping him. You just had to hang on for dear life till you got back to the barn and then start it over again.
Dang.
I guess my sister and I were riding a horse once and got bucked off and the saddle broke and we flew through the air and the saddle and I landed on her and broke her arm. That was pretty scary and
Whoa, yeah, see?
And my brother was teasing one time, Betsy, when we were grooming her. And when he turned around, she just bit his back.
Ew.
And he ran on his knees crying. He dropped to his knees and ran on his knees. It was incredible. Drawing horses are hard. Very, very hard. I should probably work on them more than once a year.
The tame mane.
I can't draw a horse.
They're so hard.
I'm going to try to draw a horse. It's going to be really bad, guys.
Draw a pony.
Oh, yeah, ponies.
Ponies.
Yeah, there's a team of young animators probably that draw so many ponies. They're sick of it.
My Little Ponies.
They're sick of
I love
it.
ponies. I'm
They're
a
so
brony.
cute.
You're a
Aw.
brony.
I'm
Yeah.
totally a brony.
Yeah.
I would be if I could sit through an episode of My Little Pony. I don't know.
You just have to start somewhere that's not the first season.
Yeah.
Because they realized really quickly that there were adults watching their show, and then they sort of tailored it, I think.
Right.
That's my pony. That.
Dude, bronies do have the best games, like tabletop games. It's a fact. Like, if you ever want to play like a weird role-playing game that somehow incorporates Farkle or something else, chill with a brony. It's amazing. I don't know, I used to have a brony roommate. That was my experience.
Really?
Yeah. Way back in the day. And yeah, kind of part of the, lol. Such a weird tangent, guys. I love it, though. A weird part of the work in progress is kind of like what informed it in the first place. And I'm just going to ask both you guys, something that you've like worked on or like kind of been refining over the years. What are some of the ways the way you feel about it has changed? Like, for me, I can best exemplify it with music. Like, if I write a song, usually it means something different in a couple of years when I go to do it again. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of wondering what sort of things you guys have been running into with that, or if that even happens with some of the stuff you're working on.
I got one. I do art for hackers.
Yeah.
So part of the year I do illustrations for DEF CON hacking conference. This is a big thing in Vegas where a bunch of hackers convene and do stuff. So I've been the artist, or one of the artists, for a long time, and so then because of that I get a whole lot of other gigs that are like hackers doing their stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a thing that goes with that that's sort of it's like a spooky guy in a hoodie at a laptop, and he's doing nefarious things, and like in this same sort of illustration I've done I don't know how many times, where like I used to be like, yeah, it's cool, and now I look back on it, I'm like, it's the same thing over and over again. And so I'm trying to like evolve that somehow into something else, but I don't think there's enough artists in that scene sort of transforming it into anything yet.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I don't know. There's mine. Hacker art.
I do a lot of concert poster illustration, album art, because I've been a touring musician for 20 years, and it just anything that involves fires and skulls anymore I don't want a part of. You know, especially even though playing in the metal genre hasn't been any part of my personal thing. A lot of them hire me to do stuff, and when it comes to spiky lettering and fires and skulls and stuff, I just don't want to do it anymore. Like, that's why I suggest like getting outside their box. Like, not saying that there's a great one based out of Denver, a great hardcore band called Cephalic Carnage, and they were doing an Icelandic tour maybe last year, the year before, I don't remember, but they wanted to hire me to do the thing, do their tour poster and tour merch, and I was like, we should do a crazy Ram Viking, but make it look like a hockey logo, you know, and do the lettering all in, you know, very athletic looking to set it apart from everything else you're doing, and just use a couple colors, black, light blue, white.
Yeah.
And it turned out fucking amazing, and they put it on 3/4 sleeve colored, like, white shirt with the black sleeves, 3/4 sports sleeves, and it was incredible, and it's, you know, one of their best sellers, and it's like a lot of groups like that will, I guess, to answer your thing, is evolving from I don't want to do that shit anymore. Like, I don't want to draw fucking banjo if you're a bluegrass band anymore. I don't want to draw, just no.
Unless there's a bear attached to it, fuck your banjo.
Yeah,
Dude, there's some push through with it where you get into like the absurd with it. Though that's when, like, last year for DEF CON I did the push so far into it that it's ridiculous. So it got into like the whole like Vaporwave, like here's all this glitch stuff that's like, I don't know how to describe that. I don't want to like explain Vaporwave.
Right? Because I have no.
Right. And I feel like explaining Glitch without Karina here is...
Oh yeah, we need Karina for Glitch.
We need her for that one. Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's also... I just wanted to ask you guys one last question. I think it's getting pretty close. I'm not sure, but we should just do some more plugs in a minute too. And
Okay.
say adios to the interwebs. But what are some of your influences currently?
No. You know what's interesting is working with having the ability to work around people that influence you in ways that you didn't know. I mean, obviously in the illustrative way, but the thought processing or the way that you use actual tools and everything, because, you know, Mar's been a huge influence on me in illustration style, teaching me tools that I didn't even know existed, you know, and ways to go about it, and also having a kind of a boundless energy with it. Like, it doesn't have to look like a cat to be a cat kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But Shovelface, a friend of mine that I knew in New York, who's in Berlin now, his illustration work influences me a great deal. And Terry Maxwell, the famed watercolor painter from Kansas, who I got to become very good friends with. People that take the tools and the things that we all know and go way out with it.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, likewise, I sit around and watch Josh draw all day, and then it's hard not to then be influenced by Josh and inspired by Josh. And
how much do you think the other hacker artists influence you?
I think some. It's all. There's one guy in the scene who's sort of like Stedman. And then there's another sort of comic artist guy. And those are, like, the main guys that I can think of. So I think my stuff plays in sort of with that. But I don't know how much I'm taking from it. I get inspired by, like, either people I'm working around a lot or, like, people who are just, like, weirdly outside of my scene. Oh, Syriac, I was just showing you that yesterday.
Oh, the animator?
I love him.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm definitely influenced by Syriac.
It got yesterday. I mean, I'd seen the Lamb one years ago.
It's like all twisty and mechanical.
Right.
Ugh.
But it wasn't until yesterday that I really was like, oh god, this guy's got a catalog.
But there's something about the mood of that guy that I am absolutely in love with. That's just like, it's ridiculous to the point of painful and like and creepy, and where it just becomes a mess of whatever the hell that is. I don't know how to describe that.
It's like a gyrating mass of mechanical, photographic. What do they call that? It's totally like kaleidoscopic, but then everything functions like, yeah.
Yeah, there's
weird.
There's some insane art of deconstruction there that is, that's definitely inspiring. Things like that are inspiring to me.
And that's pushing tools too, like, whatever programs he's using, I have no idea.
Oh, it's just Flash, man.
Yeah. Where most people are just like, making a business logo, zoom into frame.
Right, making a button for their website.
Right, like he's doing that, Yeah.
And
that's I like that stuff.
Yeah,
for real.
It's like you can picture the guy sitting in a room for 3 days straight, just like completely in his own world, like deconstructing something until it's like something completely different.
Yeah.
Cogs made out of like cats and limousines.
No, totally, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I I've been really digging Charles Burns lately because I've been trying to write a story and then put it in a graphic medium in like kind of a similar way, but it's very different. But I really like the kind of like what you're saying, like that stuff that just kind of it's amorphous. It can like, you can turn the same kind of like stylistic imagery into something completely else with just a couple pen strokes. And like I always find that really fun because that's kind of the heart of doodling, you know, just like
Sure.
playing with things and not really worrying about what happens with them. And also, I'd have to say one of my biggest influences is probably the person that I hang out with the most, which is my lady love cat. Mm-hmm. And she does just this amazing pattern work, and she's very meticulous, and I love it.
Cool.
It's fun to try to do because I can't do it, you know? I always like finding those things.
And, you know, it's funny. The other day, someone... Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent real quick. The other day, someone was like, why don't you ever do pop culture things at your gallery that you know are going to sell or you know are going to make a thing? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, Star Wars is doing this whole things and doing all that. And I was like, because I don't give a fucking shit about Star Wars. I don't care about it. And I can't imagine Mara and I basing anything we're going to do off of... Well, you know, something popular just so we can be in there, even though we've joked about coming up with fake names and doing it. But anyways, and it's like, what do you think about the new movies? And I was like, okay, again, I don't give a fucking shit about it. I'll tell you this story. I went to the theater with some of my friends when that last one came out a couple years ago, and we walked in, and I saw that the Peanuts movie was playing. And so they all went to Star Wars, and I went to Peanuts.
Oh, yeah.
The Charlie Brown, the new, and it was amazing. It was exactly Charles Schultz's beliefs and ideals, and wholesome, family-friendly, gorgeous, and it was a modern cartoon without any product placement or new music in it, you know, that they try and push down all the kids' throats. And so, long story short, as I'm saying... Don't push your fucking Star Wars down my throat. I'm going to push the Peanuts movie down your throat because it's so great. And
right.
That's that.
I don't know. I mean, Ben Heyman had a piece up at Creepshow, but he does like that kind of reclaim meme thing, you know? And it's amazing. I'm pretty sure he did one with Charlie Brown a little while ago. It was really good. It's been a minute, though. But I kind of love that idea of kind of reclaiming... something, but it shouldn't be for like a monetary incentive, you know?
Yeah.
It should be kind of to make a point. Because it's also like, what is that fine line when you're stealing intellectual property? You know?
Of course, yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. Just make my own.
Yeah, some of the, and I don't know any of these names of these artists, but some of the most fascinating stuff I've seen on the internet, you know, in the last few years as far as like 2D art goes, with cartoon characters in particular, is these artists that take, you know, SpongeBob or Homer Simpson and like make them three-dimensional, like they look real, like they're an actual human creature or something. And I don't know if they're doing that in Photoshop, I'd imagine, I don't know. But I find that stuff pretty fascinating.
Or they just found a guy that looked like him, you know?
Right, exactly. That's kind of what they're trying to go for, you know, I'm assuming, but it's super neat. Very well done. But nothing beats just good old-fashioned doodling for me, you know. Drawing with a pen or pencil or paintbrush, you know.
Right. Yeah, because that's like a thing now, is some people just like, they don't even like, they don't draw ever, but they still like make art, you know? Because they can work vectors and they have like a good eye for graphic design, so it doesn't really matter, but like...
I know a lot of great graphic designers that do that, you know?
Yeah.
Which, you know, in turn, like, some of them have really awesome design groups or firms or their own thing that they do, and occasionally they'll get a job where they need me to illustrate something out for them.
Right.
And then they can take it and vectorize it because they just, you know... It's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Graphic design's interesting. Like, you look at some logos that people have come up with, and you're like, that is fucking brilliant.
Right. Oh, my God.
You know? And it's the simplest couple lines or something. And it's like, that is incredible.
I mean, that's cool that you can see it. I do logo design occasionally, and it's rough because people don't realize the amount of work that goes into reducing something into that.
Yeah.
It's invisible to them, so it's like it's really hard to do those gigs. So I don't do it so much anymore.
No,
like illustration, you can see every line and you can sort of tell that there was a lot of work that went into it, you know?
Well, it's like expected, you know? That's why I think everybody that does fine art needs to be a printmaker. Because it's like, printmaker will spend just as much time working on something, but it'll like be like, I made 60 copies of it, so it's like worth ridiculously less. Like, it's like amazing. I always thought that was because it's the way it should be, honestly, like for real, is finding ways to do things efficiently. But unfortunately, we live in a capitalist system, and it's all about finding ways to make waste. Because that's where profit kind of jumps from.
I was really hoping this podcast would gear towards fuck capitalism. I'm glad we arrived.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Good morning. Might be good afternoon now. I don't know. I have no idea what time it is, guys. Isn't it?
I know. I know it's early. What are you doing with your music these days?
Oh, man. That's a dangerous question.
Oh, no.
Waiting until I can foot the bill for it on my own and produce it on my own. It's really kind of the whole thing. And also, like, I guess that's fair, man. As far as, like, work in progress, I'm just, like, waiting for the stars to align. Because the whole thing is I want a band, you know? But there's a point in my life where I just got really tired of bands and the way they, like, come and go and ebb and flow. And it's just like, yeah, I got tired with the kind of the drama with it. I'm always down to record, though. But yeah, it's weird. 'Cause that's kind of what I grew up doing.
Yeah, well, bands are, it's an interesting little gang of boys and girls and, creators of whatever denomination of life they do, and they've got to work together to make it happen.
Yeah.
And as soon as there's that one whiny butthole in there, that starts to create the whole mess.
Fucking Paul Gregory.
Oh.
Whatever. No, those are made up names. Don't worry.
I know. I was going to say.
I don't even know if I hang out with a dude named Paul, but maybe I do. I don't know.
Maybe you should get a friend named Paul.
Maybe you should get a friend named Paul.
Let's go find me a Paul, guys. Yeah, it's just that the whole dynamic of working with other people is you can't be a dick. No. And then somebody else's dick. I don't know. I've come to a point in my life where I'm just like, I don't deal with that now. Like,
no one needs to.
Yeah.
No one needs to, and if anything, you're helping self-educate somebody that is being a dick, and you're like, I'm not going to put up with you. I don't want to hang out with you because you're a butthole.
This is your lesson to go off.
And then they're like, I'm a butthole. I shouldn't be a butthole because I want to hang out with Paul too.
Yeah. And honestly, with the music thing, like, I'm waiting until my adolescence wears off, you know? I don't want to have any semblance of... I want my music to be that coming from a grown-ass man. I don't want it to be just self-expressive nonsense, Mm-hmm. But I guess that's kind of a weird thing to think about it.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Look back on some of the songs that I wrote, and Why was I talking about that?
Wait, did you write the thong song?
Right? But you know what?
I wonder how those dudes they're doing, you know.
I played an album of mine that I probably made when I was, I don't know. The band was Loco Machine, and it was 2000, I don't know. I was in my young 20s, and every song on there was about drawing. One song was called Finding Treasure, and it was about walking around the country and finding a jawbone of a creature and keeping it, and how you create on paper what that creature was or could and will be, yada yada. And another song was a country song called Rapidiograph, based off of the Kohinoor Rapidiograph refillable pens. And it was about drawing things that are happening in the world that scare people.
That's awesome.
And how it's bringing, your illustration is bringing all this confusion and frustration because you're just speaking the truth, through your pen.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. I was like, God, every song is about drawing. This is weird. Why?
I would listen to that.
It's really funny. I'll have to play it for you at the gallery sometime. At this point in my life, it's adorable. It's like, wow, that's way to go playing guitar there, bud.
Playing on my get fiddle.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's not gonna work.
Should we plug some things?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what to do.
Josh, what bands are you in?
There's no worry.
I'm in a band called Granny Tweed, and we have shows coming up. You can see those at grannytweed.com. And then I play bass in another band called Oroya, and we don't play very often, but we do have a show coming up. And that's it. That's it these days. All the other instruments are out of my life. But we have a show at the gallery.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it's all based off ink illustration. It's November 11th, Saturday, November 11th, at Cabal Gallery, 1875 South Broadway. And we're gonna have a couple tattoo artists in there actually tattooing, but showing some of their illustration work, ink illustration work, and Marnai, Karina will all have things as well.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'll be tasty. There was there's a period back towards the beginning of this show, and one of my buddies lined up a tattoo artist to come on here. I don't know what happened. The dude kind of flaked out at the last minute, but we were real close to having a guinea pig and a tattoo in here one day. Mm-hmm. So that'll be exciting to see. You can actually see that now. It's not just something weird. You can see a live tattoo, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, most people have tattoos, so they've probably seen that, but, as a performance art, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it, maybe an athletic event one day. The Tattoo Olympics. All right. It looks like we are getting fairly close to the end of our show today. Okay. Thanks for coming in, guys. I just wanted to shout out Samson, making sure we're crisp clean and on the scene. Hey, Samson. Love you, buddy. Rich, who's running the sound. Miles, who is just our go-to guy for all-around wizardry. Thanks, Samar. Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks, Josh, for coming.
Yeah.
And this has been the DoodleCast, and we are Denver.
Yay.
I see